Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 8 of the Two Pad Stack. I'm your host, Aaron Ace Chisling, and my wonderful co-host Burge is not here this week. So shout out to Burge. Hope everything's going well. We'll see you next week. We've got somebody that's going to be filling in his boots this week, and an old friend of mine from when I was a guest host on the OB podcast, Brett Howard, is joining this week. How's it going, Brett?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Good, dude. It's been a crazy week. Like it's flown by.
Mm-hmm.
Some exciting news with the primetime team. Obviously, this podcast is brought to you guys in partnership with the Primetime Productions crew. As you guys had probably heard, now we have a really great football podcast for the Pats, and as you're listening to this right now, we just came off a pretty shitty ending to that game, but yeah, I know Brett doesn't give a shit about the NFL, but I'm gonna just talk about the Pats for a
No,
second
I,
here.
I, I actually I went on and watched some highlights. I watched some ball today. I'm a
Really,
hypocrite. Yeah, I'm a hypocrite. I gave in.
even though it's not on the the old CFL,
It's not my Saskatchewan Roughriders. I don't want it.
you're not an Argonauts guy.
Hell no. Hell no. Actually, you know what's funny is Ottawa's team. Their name is just the Red Blacks. Like what?
Yeah, I've seen that
Like
shit.
what? They used to be the Outlaws, and that was a way better name. Like the Red
That is
Blacks
better.
is just what is that? Come on.
They're like, what should we come up with our name? Like, what are our
Yeah.
colors? Oh, we're red and black. Oh, well, fuck it, that works.
Like they could even went with the prime ministers, and I'd be happier.
I mean, you already have the Sens in Ottawa,
Yeah.
so I mean, you might as well keep the political thing going.
Yeah. No,
That'd
but
be
I
fucking
did
hilarious.
see. I saw that the Pats didn't show up earlier. I don't know football well,
Hmm.
but like if we're gonna do this and plug it a little, I'll talk the talk. And I don't know. There's just a couple plays that I saw that I was just like, I don't know, not great football in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens, dude. Like it seemed like the offense wasn't ready to go, and we'll keep this short here. But I mean, like
Hmm.
when you have two turnovers just like that in the first quarter, and you're down 16-0 before your real first offensive drive, it's not going to be a good time. You're going to be kind of caught, caught with your pants down a little bit.
Yeah, and
Um,
for people that don't follow football like me, that's two touchdowns.
there you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, two
and a bit
touchdowns
more.
and a field goal, which is
Yeah,
3 points because
yeah.
that makes fucking sense. I'm a very surface level Pats fan. I just kind of
Mhm.
follow it because it's like a cultural thing down here
Yeah.
in in New England. Like everyone and their mother watches the Pats, and you go to the grocery store on a Sunday morning of a Pats game, and it is an absolute zoo throughout New England.
Yeah.
Everybody's grabbing shit to cook food, and you're working the next day. If you don't know what happened in the Pats game, you're not able to have that water cooler talk. So,
Yeah.
but for those that are curious, that new podcast that's part of the Primetime Productions crew is called the Drop Back Podcast. You can find them on Twitter at Dropback DROPBACK underscore. And yeah, check them out. I'm certainly going to be tuning into their episode, and
It's the
when
Drews.
yeah,
Andrew
absolutely.
squared.
So yeah, check them out. And obviously, I mean, the vast majority of people that listen to the Two Pad Stack already, I mean, this podcast was kind of an offshoot of the OB podcast. I really enjoyed my time as a guest host on those, a couple shows that we did. You guys know who Brett is, but if you don't, Brett, shoot your shot. Tell us your shit real quick.
No, shoot my shot. Buy me dinner first, Ace. God damn. No, yeah, like Ace just said, you probably know me from Only Bruins. You probably follow me on Twitter. You probably know I'm bad shit crazy. It is what it is. It comes with this with the agenda. But yeah, we got a great thing going on it over at Only Bruins. We're proudly presented by Primetime Productions as well as you. We're under this great umbrella together. Got a great family going, and we just like to shoot the shit, talk Bruins. Like you said, you've been on. I think you were before Danny came on and challenged you. I think you were our like most reoccurring and most sought after guest by fans. So we love the listeners. We know we have a lot of crossover and bleed over here, which is fucking awesome because what you guys are doing here is awesome. It's great to hear goalie's perspective on stuff because me and Boosie are just dumbass forwards and defensemen, right? Like we don't do anything, right? But no, I'm just kidding. It's you guys have a great show here. I'm happy to be on. When you asked me, I was more than thrilled to do this. So it's a little different because we don't do video pods. I said the same thing to the Something Bruins boys. So I had to clean up a little. I put my brand new London Knights hat on. Yes,
Yeah, you look great. Yeah,
everyone
drink.
drink.
He said
Everyone
London.
drink.
Are you
But
sipping on anything this evening?
yeah, dude. Hold on. There we are.
There we go. What do we got there?
Miller
It's our
latte.
Miller latte.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
I'm drinking basically a fake Canadian beer. I've got a wonderful Green State Lager from our
Oh
friends
yeah.
at Zero Gravity Brewery. That's in Burlington, Vermont. So yeah, it's some good
Beautiful
shit, dude.
Vermont.
Yeah, good stuff. Good
Love
stuff. You hear
Vermont.
that, Zero Gravity? Hit me up for sponsorship opportunities. I can definitely drink your shit on there.
Yeah. Because if not, you're gonna turn into a certain orange juice drink that went seltzer that I no longer mention because they won't sponsor me.
They who shall not be named.
Dude, I gave them so much free advertising and so much I had people not even following me, tweeting pictures of me, taking pictures of this beverage and sending them to me. I didn't even know who they are. I love the game. It was super fun while it was going on, but yeah, I will not mention them anymore.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about them.
Yeah.
So speaking of being a dumb fucking forward or a defenseman, stop by Play It Against Sports, which is our
Mm,
local used sports stuff store
we have them
here.
here.
Okay, so you guys
Yeah.
have them up there. Every once in a while, there's one of those chains that just seems like it's everywhere, but it's not, and you sound like an
Yeah.
idiot when you say it. But yeah, we stopped by Play It Against Sports. They had, oh my god, dude, like so much shit in that place.
Insane.
Like,
Right before season start too, right? Like
yeah,
it's probably crazy.
I walked in there and I had to like be careful where I was stepping because there were so many pairs of skates
I was gonna say they have
all
skates
over
on.
the
I
floor,
know. It's
everywhere.
insane.
So
Ours here, I don't think are as big as yours. Like, they're smaller stores, but yeah, every time I go, there's a wall of skates, and then there's just like 3 rows in front of that wall, just a full of skates.
yeah, dude, it was ridiculous. And then I also was poking around. They had like some snowboards for kids and
Mm-hmm.
some great stuff there. Like we're talking about getting my youngest a snowboard, but for those that don't know, I actually announced it this week. Pretty exciting times for me as a dad. I know, Brett, you probably don't acknowledge any of your children yet, but eventually
Nope.
somebody's going to come forward and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
you got to pay child support."
Yeah.
But
Hey, buddy, it's Canada. Come on now.
somebody's going to pay for it. It's not going to be you.
Hopefully, I'll have that green card marriage by then.
Fuck yeah, Danny, are you still there? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I
That's
was
funny.
working. She Snapchatted me today, or no, yesterday when I was at the Knights game. She was like, "You're at hockey jealous" or something. I forget what she said, and then I was just like, all I respond is future wife.
Nice, dude.
So I'm still working it.
Dude, it's 2023. Like, I'll marry you, and you can come down here and hang out with
Yeah,
us. It's all good.
Chuck and Larry, this shit.
But yeah, we went to Play It Against Sports, and I got myself a Bucky
Mm.
and pair of mitts, and because I got an email from the guy that's organizing it, and I've talked about it already a little bit. Wonderful program in our local system here, Rochester Youth Hockey in Rochester, New Hampshire. Try hockey free weekend for kids age 4 to 8. Pay $225. You get a full set of gear. At the end of the weekend, you get three on ice sessions with coaches. The end of the weekend, if the kid doesn't want to play anymore, return all the gear, get all your money back, no questions asked.
No shit.
Yeah,
Is it sponsored by Bauer?
no, dude.
Okay,
It's
so here we have one here, but it's sponsored by Bauer. But I don't think you can bring the gear. I think it's tough luck if the kid doesn't like it.
yeah, you can return all of the stuff. The only thing
That's
you're on
awesome.
your own with is like the jock, because you
Yeah.
obviously can't take that back, right? So
What? Why not?
yeah, right. I actually exclusively buy pre-owned jocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing that this upcoming weekend. Next time I record, next time you hear from me, I will be actually doing my inaugural coaching opportunity here. I'm going to be
Woo woo.
lacing them up and telling all these kids that have never played hockey before how to play hockey. So that'll be a lot of
Oh,
fun.
I
telling all
can't
these
wait till your
kids.
first snap show, till you tell me the first time you just internally snap. Because you know you're not going to yell at the kids. I know you. You're a fucking great dude. You have kids yourself. You know that moment where you're like, oh my fucking God.
Dude, it's gonna be like herding cats. Like number one, they can't skate. Like so, it's gonna be terrible on that front. So I'm just gonna like try to be positive. You're doing
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
Hey, hey,
hockey's awesome.
hey, wait, you're a goalie. You can't skate either.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be wearing my goalie skates too.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, I was gonna say you better be, you better be. I saw who was it? Burge was like, wear your goalie helmet. I was like, Burge, you
yeah,
out here?
dude.
You want Ace to wear his goalie helmet where he's teaching kids? You can barely
Right.
open your jaw, and then he's in my DM saying that we need to have 5 A's for the Bruins next year instead of a captain.
Oh my
So
god, dude. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Like Burge is on
I'm
another
just kidding. I
planet on
love
that
him.
front.
I love
But
him.
can you imagine though? Like you're like trying something new, and you're like 5 years old, and some guy that's like 230 pounds comes out there skating, and he's got like a knight's mask on from the fucking medieval period, and he's telling you what the fuck to do. Like I would shit myself. I'd never want to play
Oh
hockey
yeah,
again, dude. Like
it'd be the scariest experience ever. Maybe if you had the Tim Thomas style mask, but I don't know. That might be
Mm-mm.
scarier now that I think about it.
So I don't have it with me. I'd throw it on camera right now while I'm recording, but I got like it's got to be like a late 2000s Bauer bucket, the
Oh yeah,
large size, and like these
yeah,
old ass like almost leather Bauer gloves. Like cuz I was looking online, dude, and I'm trying to find like a cheap like low end helmet cuz I'm not gonna like actually be
yeah.
playing. I literally
No,
just needed to be out there because you can't skate around as a USA hockey coach without a helmet, and
yeah.
you have to be up to like certification and everything.
Same thing here.
So I had to get something. So I was like looking online, and the cheapest thing at like our big retailer, which is Pure Hockey,
Hmm.
the
Yeah, we
cheapest thing
got
there
it.
was like $170.
Oh yeah, man.
I'm
Yeah,
like, what are you
see,
doing?
you know what I was just about to say too, and I'm such a dumbass for about this. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna out myself on the timeline right now. I was about to be like, bro, why didn't you just go to Canadian Tire? Whoops, you guys don't have that there. They have those what is it, like the entry level helmets in adult size now. They're
Yeah.
like $70, which is still a fucking pretty dent for a helmet you're gonna wear a couple hours a week.
Yeah, exactly. And the one that I found, it had the cage on it and everything. So I was like, I'm not
Mm.
keeping the fucking cage on while I'm coaching these kids.
What, you're not
So
going Bedard bubble?
yeah, right. No, I want to get one of those NHL 24 tinted fucking bubbles,
Oh
dude.
yeah. Fuck
The
yeah,
full
dude.
fishbowl, dude. Oh my god. Yeah,
Just
I was
wear
floored,
a
dude.
Bedard jersey every time you coach.
And yet I'm gonna fucking like fall over there because I haven't skated in like 3 years. It's gonna be rough. I was actually floored when I saw a Canadian Tire for the first time. So I used to work for a software company that had me on the road
Hmm.
a lot, and my territory was basically Western Canada, right?
Hmm.
And so we're talking like I went to Kelowna
Beautiful.
and I went to Calgary,
Yeah.
Edmonton. I spent some
Banff.
time in Banff.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, just gorgeous out there. And then I
Uh,
went to the Great Canadian Brew House and all
oh
these other
yeah.
chains that were up there. I tried pizza. What is it?
Pizza. Is that
Yeah,
pizza?
no, Pizza 96 or 80,
Oh
something
yeah,
stupid like
it's
that.
so funny, dude, because it's owned by the same person. Hold on one sec. Wait. No, while I'm on the podcast, one sec. Sorry. Somebody just walked in.
No worries.
Yeah, in Ontario here we have Pizza,
Yeah,
and in the West Coast it's owned by the same people, but it's called like Pizza 6-7 or some shit like
yeah,
that.
some like
It's the
numbers
exact
after
same.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I
yeah.
did that, and I was doing like, and I was floored, dude. Like that Golf Town store you guys have.
Oh yeah, Golf Town's
Nothing
sick.
like that down here.
Yep.
Nothing like that. That was the coolest fucking thing I had seen in my life.
So
Walking in there.
you probably saw like Sport Check too then, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah,
all
I
that
did.
stuff, because they're like a conjoined company now. Now they have like mega sports stores. They're fucking crazy.
That's sweet, dude. Like I wish we
Yeah,
had that shit. We have like Dick's Sporting Goods down here.
yeah,
And like you
yeah.
feel weird when you go on the website and you just type in
Dick.
www.dicks.com.
It's like Marty telling us about how his company was like, "Why are you visiting X.com
Oh
so
yeah.
much?" It's like,
Like what
I swear.
you walk into a fucking Dick's Sporting Goods and it's like where are the actual sporting goods? Like
Oh.
way off to the left, you'll see like baseball shit and like a
Mhm.
little bit of lacrosse stuff, and they'll have like the really basic stuff for like hockey. They'll have like street hockey sticks and like street
Yeah.
hockey balls and pucks, and then they'll have like the cheapest set of gloves and
Oh
that kind
yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of it is all like Under Armour and Nike like
It's all
apparel.
workout shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
and then
funny.
you go
Sorry,
ahead.
sorry. When
You're fine.
I went to Arizona years ago to go see a Coyotes game. Back when they were, well, obviously back when they were still at Gala River, but yeah, went there and I wanted to get some Coyotes merch just because I was like, why not, right? Like they're playing the Washington Capitals. I wanted to see OV, but like I'm not gonna cheer for Washington. They're in our conference, right?
Right.
So I'm like, whatever. We go. Dude, the only place like Dick's Sporting Goods, the only place we could find any Coyotes merch in all of Phoenix and the greater area was at Dick's Sporting Good, and they had one T-shirt, and those like shitty like gimmicky T-shirts,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's literally what it was, and it just like right in the middle, shitty T-shirt, and I was just like shocked going through there. It was like all like obviously basketball is big out there, but it was just like all basketballs, footballs, and workout shit. That's it.
They don't give a shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like I went down to Phoenix. I want to say it's probably in 2011,
Mm,
2010,
it's fucking beautiful. Actually,
2012.
yeah, I was there in 2010.
So we were thinking about actually me and the wife. We were thinking about maybe moving out there. We had just gotten married, and we actually flew out there for our honeymoon. It was half honeymoon, half scouting out apartments and shit
Hmm.
because the company I was working for at the time, they were opening a new office, and they're like, hey, we could really use some help with like managerial stuff. If you want to go down there, you could have a management gig. So we had already done all the research online. Like it looked great. We found like one of those big apartment complexes that had like 3 bedrooms and
Mm.
one of the community pools and a
All the
clubhouse and shit. And it was a good deal. And then we got down there, and I'm shitting like no shit, dude. Like mid-April, and I know you guys are Celsius up there, but
hmm
it was like 110 degrees Fahrenheit,
hmm
and everyone and their mother's like, "Oh, it's a dry heat down there." I don't give a fuck how much of a dry heat it is. Like, you look at me on the camera right now? I'm a white man. Like, I am a very white man, and I sweat my ass off as soon as it gets to like
good
80
old
degrees.
swamp nuts.
Holy shit, man. In April and 110 degrees, like humanity's not supposed to be there.
Dude, when I went in October, it was 110 degrees Fahrenheit.
Unbelievable.
110, but at night it would get down to like 70s, right? Like it would get colder at night. It's just the sun there is so intense, and like you said, it's like that dry. But it's funny you say that because I've always said if I was to move one place in the states, like especially on the west coast, it would be Arizona. I loved it. It was probably we drove to the Grand Canyon.
Hmm.
Like I saw a Coyotes game, obviously. Well, I saw my first ever football game there because we went American
Cardinals game, huh?
Thanksgiving. Yeah, went to a Cardinals game. It was sad, man. They were giving out free tickets to the Coyotes game if you bought Cardinals tickets because like they couldn't fill the arena. It was so sad. So we just we like we sat like 5 rows from right behind where OV was shooting twice.
Oh,
So it
yeah.
was pretty cool. But yeah, man, beautiful. Arizona is beautiful, but wait, there shouldn't be civilization there. It's
Yeah,
way too
dude.
fucking
Like
hot.
too fucking hot. Like, granted, everywhere in their mother, has AC down there, so it's
Oh yeah.
it's mitigated because you stay inside for the vast majority of the time. But like, I
Wh-
was down there actually, and I just recalled, it was 2012, by the way,
Okay.
and I remember that because I went into a Dave and Buster's during playoff hockey. Like I said, this was in April,
Yeah.
and you want to know what happened at that Dave and Buster's? I watched Joel Ward score that goal against the Boston Bruins to send them
Oh
home
no
after
shit.
they won the cup in 2011. Yeah, so
Oh,
that first round series
that's
against the
tough.
Caps.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
so I'm
That
gonna
is
always
fucked up.
associate that cesspool of a desert with
What are
that
the
shitty
odds that
experience,
I went and saw the Capitals play the what the fuck
right?
the Capitals? That's what I'm getting
Yeah,
at
dude.
here.
No kidding.
Oh man, no, but
So
it is a beautiful place, and like you said, the last thing I will say about it, I was amazed. It's almost like Texas in the way you can get a lot of bang for your buck for real estate there.
That's true because a lot of
Yeah.
people have the same mentality as me that they don't want to fucking live there. That
hmm
you can get more real estate
it
and more
might have
house down
changed
there.
now, but like I remember it. Beautiful place. You know, and I know everyone shits on the Coyotes, and I get it. Whatever. They're like, I've always had a because of that trip. You know, me and my dad bonded a lot. It was a great trip, so they're
Yeah,
close to my heart with that. But like, fuck, if they could have figured that out there, it would have been a gold mine.
there's still time, man. Like,
I
it seems like they have an exponential amount of time. Like, it seems like Bettman will move
can't,
heaven and earth in order to make it work down there.
can't wait to fucking fight his ass. Order the pay-per-view now on Primetime Productions.
Yeah, right. No kidding. I'm
Pay
putting
the players,
$50 on
Gary.
Bettman.
Yeah, I hope so. You've seen me. You know how little I am.
Yeah, you're just lucky they're not putting Bill Daly against you. He'd beat the
Oh
shit out of you.
God, you'd eat my
That
breakfast.
bald fuck.
He'd bully me.
So I have a couple questions that are related to you, my friend. Are you ready?
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's go.
So, what's it like being a Bruins fan in Leafs territory?
Fucking insane. Honestly, people ask me all the time. Like, people ask me if I'm from Boston. That's the funniest one. When I tell them I'm a Boston everything fan, they're like, "What? Are you from Boston?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "Well, you kind of like talk." I'm like, "I talk like a Canadian." Don't even fucking start that. But whatever.
Nope.
Um, so it's the funniest thing about it all is mom is a diehard Leafs fan. So I had to make a choice at a very young age. I have Leaf jerseys from when I was a little kid, pictures of me in Leafs jerseys, but also pictures of me in Bruins jerseys. So it was a decision I had to make. Sorry, and yeah, it, it's only tough around playoffs, and it's you know what was funny about last year? I didn't hear a fucking word. Not a single word from anyone because they knew. They were like, "What the fuck is that?" Right? Like, and they kind of struggled coming out of the gates. If I'm not mistaken, like I don't think they came out as hot as they did a couple years ago.
No.
So it, the funniest one is Montreal Canadiens fans because Ontario, we're right beside Quebec. Like we get a
Yeah.
lot. I get this. It's funny because they're either Toronto fan. If you're not a Toronto fan, you're a Montreal fan, and if you're not that, you're actually pretty cool and probably a Detroit fan. You know what I mean? Like you're pretty probably down to earth because it's just where we are, where I am. Sorry, and get ready to drink London, Ontario. So, um, yeah, it's different, but like there's been a lot of gloating, right? Like so the through history of the Bruins and Leafs, like yeah, the funniest is when they try and like claim cups and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, well, you guys are Canadian, and you guys know that Toronto, like the draft back then when there was four fucking teams, was regionally, and most people
Yeah.
that played hockey in Canada lived in Ontario. So it's like it's the same thing with the Montreal Canadiens. A lot of French Canadians were good at hockey back then, and they got first dibs on the fucking French players. So, it's interesting. It's an up and down ride. But I will say, I think if the Leafs did ever win the cup, I'd probably go to the parade. I don't think I'd cheer, but I think it would be like as much as I love shitting on Leafs fans, like if they ever win it, it'll be the fucking craziest thing ever.
Yeah, I don't look forward to the day that that happens because the the social media and the internet's going to be a cesspool.
Ooh.
Like what was the 2013 playoffs like for you? Like with the
Oh,
Bruins against the Leafs?
funny story about that actually. I was playing hockey at the time, summer hockey, and wow, it was 10 years ago. Holy shit, that's insane. I was playing summer hockey at the time, and the Leafs were up clearly in the third period, and we had to go on the ice, and I'm playing hockey with all my Leafs buddies, and I'm like, oh my god, this is it. This is where it fucking happens. I'm like, it's over. We're about to go on the ice, and I'm like, this is it. This is like I'm never gonna hear the fucking end of this. So we go on the ice, whatever. Ref comes over. Bruins just scored. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, Bruins just scored. I'm like, okay. And then he comes over again. Bruins just scored again. And I was like, there's no fucking way. So then you know how the story goes. We tie it up. It goes into overtime. I left the ice. I was like, fuck this. I didn't even finish the game. I left the ice. And then I watched the Bruins win. And the look on my friends' faces in the dressing room. I was undressed. I came back down to shower, so that like because I was in such a rush to get up and watch the game. Came back down to shower, and I felt like I had the biggest swinging you know what in the world, dude. I was walking. I think I was towel off in there. I was going balls to the wall, but no, it was unbelievable. Um, and yeah, like you've never seen like that was the sourest I've ever seen a sports fan. Like you hear Yankee fans cry like when they lose to the Red Sox in the playoffs. Nah. This was like depression on a whole new level.
I fucking love that so much. Every once in a while, when I'm in a poor mood, I just go on YouTube and I do Bruins Leafs Game 7 Leaf
Hmm.
fan reactions. You've got that one guy that set up the camera
Yeah,
in his
yeah.
living room. Have you seen the video? I'm
Yeah,
sure you
yeah,
have.
yeah.
And you go from like the absolute elation, like when Phil Kessel scored that goal or
Yep.
whoever it was in the third to like extend the lead,
Yep.
and they're like, "Let's go!" Everybody's stoked. They're like flipping the food over that's on their laps and shit.
Mm.
And then the Lucic goal happens, and then
That one I wish I saw that one live. That's the only one because like he looked up at the clock and he looked at the guys on the ice and he went, "Let's go," and like you know that you played hockey, you know the momentum swing when some like when one of your big boys like that scores a goal like that. So yeah, that's the only thing I do not regret because I was playing good hockey at the time, but fuck, that would have been sick to see live.
yeah, my biggest thing that I missed, and I really hated missing Bruins hockey. I've always been a gigantic Bruins fan, and I obviously played hockey, and if you play men's hockey, beer league, whatever level you are at, you're gonna miss some Bruins games because you're
Hmm.
gonna be playing. The good times for ice slots, they go to the kids for
Yeah.
good reason. But the biggest game that I wish I was able to see live, but I was actually playing at like one of the shittiest rinks around here. We have an outdoor rink, like a partially outdoor rink, and they have like it
Do
was
they
always
still
so
have
bad.
do they still have chain link instead of glass?
It was basically like that, dude. Like they do have glass all the way around, but like it was so humid because
Oh
it wasn't
God.
that cold outside.
Hmm.
But they obviously have the refrigeration under the ice, so the glass was always like just moistened, and
Oh
there was
God.
just water all, and there was always fog over the
I was gonna
ice.
say, was it like you remember in the Mighty Ducks D3 when they go out on the
Yeah,
ice in the
dude.
morning and there's fog on
Yes,
it? Yeah,
it was
yeah,
always, and then it's like for a goalie, especially on the
yeah.
really foggy
Nightmare.
days. Like you're only gonna see them when they come out and they have like a fucking
Mhm.
breakaway. He's just gonna emerge from the fog and he's gonna come in from the blue line on you. It's like it's fucking
Oh.
crazy. But I was playing there at that rink in Durham, New Hampshire, called Jackson's Landing, and it was the game where things just went off the fucking rails for the Bees Habs, and Tim Thomas skated down to fight Carey Price.
Yes, I
Do you
remember
remember
that.
that shit, dude?
Yes, I do. Wow.
Like
And as a goalie, you probably that would have been yeah, right? Yeah.
you can't skate off the ice to check your fucking phone.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was waiting until the end. Like people are skating by, they're like, Tim Thomas just fought Carey Price. I was like, what the fuck did you just say to me?
As he emerged out of the fog in a black jersey, you're like, "Whoa, whoa."
Yeah, dude. Like it was like something from like a sci-fi movie. But I as soon as I got into the locker room, I took off my mask, I grabbed my phone. I'm like, we had Twitter obviously then, so I'm like
Mhm.
scrolling. I'm trying to grab the gifs of the fight, and
Mm.
then I finally saw it as like, really, guys, like that's what we're gonna call a
Yeah.
fight. Like Timmy
Yeah.
didn't even get a throw in. Like,
Yeah. No, it was a great moment, and that would, especially as a goalie yourself, that would suck, right? Because like I said, once the ref told me that, like it was summer hockey, so it was like it was competitive still, but at the same time, like I was able to it's just summer hockey, right? Like, but like you said, what are you gonna take all your pads and everything off?
right, dude, I
Le-
can't
Hey,
walk away.
skate six guys, boys.
Yeah, right. Extra attacker, let's go. I'm out of here. Fuck you guys. Well, it's funny, dude.
Uh,
Like that group of people, it was like Wednesday nights, if I remember right. And it was just like a random pickup group. And we had a guy that formerly was a goalie for the Hamilton Bulldogs,
oh no
which when they
shit.
were an AHL team
Hammer
at the
City,
time.
baby.
Yeah, so they he was a goalie and he was like 6'4",
Yeah.
and I don't know, man. Like this guy was just you couldn't take the puck off him. And like this is like a C league type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he could have easily played like in an A league, a senior A league. Like this guy just lived hockey, and I mean a lot of those guys that play goal their entire career, as soon as they're done, if their dreams like don't get accomplished, but or even if they do, a lot of the times like they just don't want to play net anymore. They don't,
Yep.
but the rigors that it has on their knees and their hips and shit,
Mm-hmm.
like they just want to go out there and make some plays.
Yeah.
And
Plus,
I
they have
see
to go
that.
to work the next day.
Yeah, dude. Like, um,
It changes everything.
it does. It does.
It
And
sucks.
there's a thing with like being a goalie though. There's like an emotional component to it, like
Mm-hmm.
because you're on your own little island there. Like you're part of a team. You're wearing the same jersey, but you know you have if you play like shit, that has a much bigger impact than if your third defenseman plays like shit.
Yep.
You know, if you play like shit, the game's fucking done. You're on your own little team. You're playing your own little game.
Yep.
So I can really see why that can be exhausting for some people. And if you do it with so much pressure and, you know, on a professional level, there is a ton of pressure. You know, you're playing for your literal careers. I can see why that gets exhausting. And you still can't oust the passion for the sport itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're always going to be a big hockey guy. But I can see why, you know, when you're done, you don't want to be lacing up those pads anymore. Just want to fuck around and play some shitty.
See, I've always respected that out of goalies because, like, I always said I'm weird enough to play goalie. I used to love playing road hockey goalie, like street goalie, and I also played lacrosse goalie, which I love too. So,
Fuck
but
that, dude. Lacrosse goalies are fucking crazy.
yeah, that's where I learned like the whole. I have way too much anxiety to be a fucking goalie. Like there is no like you said like it's not it's so funny because people blame goalies all the time and it's such a fucking shitty cop out. Sorry for swearing like that, but it is such a cop out because it's like there's so many components that go into this before the puck even leaves the guy's stick to hit the goalie. You know what I mean? And like people never respect it, or you know, you got your Tuukka Rask haters. Fuck, you got Lundqvist haters. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could go down the list, right? And it's just it always amazes me and it makes me laugh online when I see people chirping like Allmark is like putting that whole Florida series on Allmark and Swayman. It's like there's a coach that made that decision. First of all, second of all, the team played dog shit in front of them. Like it's such a just easy cop out to people, and that's why I've always respected goalies because they're just like, no, fuck you guys, I'm playing out now. Like I'm not fucking. I don't need to be
You
anxiety
guys can go
ridden.
fuck yourselves. I'm tired
Yeah,
of it.
like I don't
Yeah.
need to be anxiety ridden to go to work tomorrow because I let in a goal by accident in beer leagues. Like fuck that.
I mean, dude, I find myself guilty of it too. Like I'm
Mm.
sitting here and you know, whatever Bruins goalie I'm watching lets in a shitty goal, and I'm like, motherfucker, I could have stopped that.
Yeah,
And
there's a difference with that, I think, right? Like
yeah, I
as
mean,
someone who played net.
a little bit, but then again, I can't ever replicate the shit that those guys are going through, right?
Mm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
I played like men's sea level. Like I have no idea even what like a backhander from the blue line would look like at that level. Like I played
Yeah.
against one guy that played like junior B and
Mm.
he lit me the fuck up so bad. I could not follow him. He would just open me up and put it 5-hole every fucking time.
Mhm.
And I just got so fucking angry. I just let him have the net. I didn't even try. I was like, just fucking score, dude. Like, there's no fucking point. But yet, I'm sitting here on my ass. I've got like Doritos on my chest. I'm like half beer deep, and I'm like, Tuka, seal up your 5-0, you motherfucker. What are you doing? It's like, and then I take a step back. I'm like, what the fuck am I saying? Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Like,
Yeah. And
I'm
and
like
the
the worst kind of person right now.
and the thing too is like there's plenty of times where I'm like just even as a skater, I'm like that was a weak one. You know, and it is okay to say that I think because it's true. You know, you heard Jeremy Swayman talk about Game 7 how he wanted that one goal back and it's haunted him ever since. It's true. He knew it was a weak goal. It is what it is, right? Like, that's why we love this game so much. It makes no sense. It's a game of
Yeah.
fucking inch. You know what I mean? Like, it's a game of chance. It's a game of inches. They're skating on fucking an inch thin blade. You know, like going down the ice 40 miles an hour or 75 if you're fucking Connor McDavid, and you just I don't know. It's just the beautiful game we love, and it sucks when it sucks, but. I don't know. I've just always been I don't chirp refs online and I don't chirp goalies because I've never been one. And, you know, it's fucking a hard job. People always say the hardest job in sports is a back catcher in baseball. Man, I think hockey goalie is very fucking close with the pressure. I know it's different sport and like I know you can argue quarterback, blah blah blah, but I think hockey goalies do not get enough love in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, as a goalie, I have to kind of agree that the goalie position is underappreciated. Everybody just kind of writes it off as, oh, those fucking goalies, they're weird, they're different, and everything. But like I said earlier, you have that much pressure on you as a goalie.
Yep.
It's if you fuck up, the team's fucked, and everybody knows that you fucked up, and that it's your fault that the team's fucked.
Yeah.
And if
Well,
you
like,
can't tell, Brett, I don't really care about swearing, so you're good. Let it
no,
fly, buddy.
I did the whole like, wait, what show am I on? Wait, are we that whole thing. But I think Tuca talked about this in the Chicklets interview for anybody who hasn't listened to it. He's like, I would rather people come up to me at my dinner and be like, that was fucking bullshit than hear like sports talk radio, these fucking idiots that don't even like the team. They're doing it for a paycheck and ripping me, over and over again. And it is something you like. That's what everyone was like. Oh, Tuca's mentally weak. Are you kidding me? After hearing that conversation, I was like, this guy might be one of the strongest mentally strong people I've ever fucking listened talk. Honestly,
Dude, it was crazy just hearing him talk about like the fact that hey, people say whatever they want to say. I don't listen to it. I don't give a shit. Like,
mm,
I'm gonna go into the locker room and do my own thing. It doesn't matter what the fuck happened. Like, I'm gonna still like. He obviously still cared about what happened when he played
mm-hmm.
because he was the first one to admit on that podcast that he'll still have his fucking tantrums when
Oh
he's in the
yeah,
locker room. He did it behind closed doors after that
mm-hmm.
famous Providence one with the milk
Oh,
crate.
so good.
Oh my god, dude!
And
I've
then
I've done that helicopter of the goalie stick
yeah,
myself a few times. Like you just fucking you're pissed, you just yeet that bitch. Oh, it's so
dude.
good to
And then
feel like that
remember
thing
when
flying.
his skate blade broke and what was that in the bubble? He
Yeah,
just
dude.
fucking throws it at the ref.
He's holding it out like it's a wand from Harry Potter.
What literally what I thought was really interesting about that interview to hear him and Tim Thomas were like the best of friends. I would have never guessed that.
I completely never made that connection to the fact that Timmy played so much time over in Europe,
I
in
forgot.
Finland.
I
And
forgot.
Tuca's like, oh yeah, Timmy's basically like another
Yeah.
Finnish guy. Like,
Yeah, and he was saying they both loved like crazy, like hardcore music, like Metallica and stuff. So they're like able to bond over that, and it was good to hear somebody finally talk about Timmy in good light. Like we all know,
agreed.
you know what I mean? Like we all know, shit, whatever. People have their own fucking ways of thinking or things that they
Yep.
support, and it is what it is, right? But as a fucking Boston Bruin, like even Tuukka Rask said that in the interview. He was like, "Yeah, I started the season. I think I lost the first game 4-0. Timmy came in the next game, got a shutout, and it was just his net, and that's how it was. And then he was like, what am I supposed to do in the playoffs? Like he went fucking sicko mode, and we won a cup together. And it's like, yes, I know." Tuukka Rask didn't win the cup, but as a starter, I understand that. I know I'm fucking guilty of beating that fucking drum just to be an asshole. But to hear that relationship and how supportive he was made me feel a lot better about the whole situation, if that makes
Yeah, I
sense.
agree. And hearing his perspective on the fact that, being a goalie with with Tim Thomas, it really helped both of them because
Mm,
Timmy was one of those goalies that he was do anything to stop the puck, and
mm.
he
Hashtag
really
style.
lost. Yeah, he lost a lot of that, technicality, a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
technical aspect of goaltending in favor of I'm out of position. Oh fuck, what do I do? I'm going to throw a leg out there. I'm going to throw an arm out there,
Mm-hmm.
and
You
at
almost see it
times,
with Allmark sometimes.
yeah, you do. You see
Yeah.
that like that desperation level. But a lot of that came from his lack of expertise on the technical side of things
Mm-hmm.
and his lack of the ability to just stay calm, cool, and centered. And Tuukka was always that guy that was really technically sound. I mean, he was
Mm-hmm.
drafted in the first round by Toronto. There obviously was that.
Hilarious.
Very funny.
Hilarious.
Very funny. Um, and he had that kind of expertise that Timmy didn't have. So
Mm-hmm.
those two guys competing, while they're battling, they're watching each other and they're picking up things that they're doing. And you could really see it in Timmy and in Tuca
Yes,
that they would
especially in
take.
Tuca's later years. You saw a lot of
Yeah,
Timmy in him.
yeah, dude. It was really good. And I don't want to say I patterned my goaltending style after Timmy, but
Mm-hmm.
I started in a really non-traditional way.
Yep.
So when you learn hockey kind of on your own without a goalie coach and you're not taught, what the butterfly was, you kind of find your own way of doing things. And, I was doing my own 2-pad stacks and, doing the
Shout out.
windmill shit. And, you know, I kind of did the battle fly style of goaltending, but,
Yeah.
yeah, I really loved hearing that interview with Tuca.
Mm-hmm.
I really
I think it
appreciated
cleared
the.
a lot of things up that
I
I
think
had.
so too.
Yeah, and I think like with the fan base on a whole, one thing I thought was really interesting that he was talking about how stubborn him and Timmy were, and that goalie Bob had a tough time with them at first, and he like he had a tough time getting those things through to one, and then the other not accept. You know what I mean? Like because they were such different styles, and it's so interesting to me because like you just said, you see Rask in the end of his career throwing his stick, grabbing like that infamous where he he caught the puck with his blocker. Like, come on, like that's Timmy. You know what I mean? Like,
That is the blocker that Berge has, by the
no
way.
shit.
Yeah, the one that if you watch our
No
pods, he's
shit.
got that
Yeah.
blocker right behind him. That's the
Yeah.
blocker that he caught that puck with.
Yeah.
Allegedly, if you're to believe Berge, that's what he
Yeah.
says.
The guy who won 7 fucking assistants this
Yeah.
year.
On that note, Berge has asked a question for you.
Okay, let's go. I fucking love this guy, but I love giving him shit.
Who's your favorite assistant captain of the Bruins of all time, and can you name 5 of them?
Oh shit. Okay. Um well, Krejci, number 1, for
Yep.
sure. Mark
Not a
Recchi.
big Krejci guy here, by the way.
I know, we know. Mark Recchi, number 2. I know it was short, but like, come on, the Stanley Cup.
Counts.
Yeah, Stanley Cup. Bergeron, layup,
Yep.
right? Marchand, layup. I think I'm gonna have to go Espo because he was so fucking crazy all the time. Um,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna give him one more because I went with like the 3 easiest: Krejci, Marchand, and Bergeron.
It was a
It's-
cop out, but
yeah,
that's fine.
it is a cop out, but it's Burge, so I'll give him that. Um, Chris Kelly.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk Espo.
Okay.
Let's talk about Phil Esposito. And the reason why I bring that up, I'm not a big Espo guy anymore.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I guess I never really was.
Did I miss
And that,
something?
I mean, he's a fucking drunk, belligerent asshole these
Oh
days.
yeah.
But
I hear him
I
on the radio with
he's
Tampa.
awful on the radio
So
with
bad.
Tampa.
Oh my
dude.
god, I can't believe they let him do that.
I know it's so bad
It's
between
insane.
him and who's their radio? They have Dave Michigan, I think.
Yes.
On
yeah.
the fucking radio, and he like screams
just
whenever
gonna say,
Tampa scores.
He's a way. I don't know how Jack Edwards gets crap when that guy exists. Like I've seen those clips where he's like, "Oh my god!" At the end, the fucking Tampa won it in overtime, and he's just like, "It's like, bro, what are you saying?" Like,
And his
it's
voice
so-
cracks and it like goes
Oh.
like blood curdling scream style whenever he
my
calls a
God.
goal. It's so bad to listen
I would
to.
rather listen to Gord Miller from fucking the TSN.
Absolutely.
Oh my god,
Absolutely.
and he's tough to listen to sometimes too.
Yeah, Dave Michigan Barnett is the worst. But the reason why I really don't care for Espo, and I think it's probably rooted in his if I go back into the history books here, I think it's rooted in the fact that he still doesn't look kindly upon the Bruins based upon the fact that he signed that deal
Yeah.
and then he was traded promptly after.
Yes.
But he very much considers himself affiliated with the Tampa Bay Lightning now and not the Boston Bruins.
Well, he was the first GM, right?
Yeah, he
Tampa
brought. I mean,
Bay.
to his
brought-
defense, he
yeah.
brought NHL hockey to Tampa.
Yeah.
which
Just
makes me hate him even more.
I know, yeah, I know. Thanks for fucking that in the Atlantic Division, you asshole. But I agree with you. The soft spot comes from the Ray Bork jersey retirement, right?
Agreed.
Everyone loves it. It's one of the great that it's so funny because two of my favorite hockey memories of all there's three. The Bobby Orr, well, obviously I wasn't alive, but the Bobby Orr, like just the whole story of it, how the guy who took the picture of him flying through the air wasn't even supposed to be in that seat, and he just like was going to for a washroom break and just luckily took that picture. Like I love that story. It's one of my favorites. It's also happened like my brother was born on that day, so it is a little bit of significance to me. The Espo retirement and then Bork lifting the cup. You know, like it just those three are just like the as Bruins fans, those are just like the dopest memories, and it's so crazy. And I love that we love that Bork. That's why I'd never hate Colorado. I never have, and I never will, and it's for that reason. But the fact that Bork lifted the cup with another team, came back, had a parade in Boston, we're still celebrating. You know, we still like it's bringing tears to my eyes right now, and I don't even know why, but it's probably the beer, a couple beers deep. But yeah, it's just those type of moments, and that's where I think Espo gets a pass for me. I agree because it's so funny. I was trying when I was doing those jersey mock-ups, I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do for a winter classic for Tampa Bay? I'm like, they have zero history. Their most history is winning fucking 7 cups in like 4 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like
Yeah,
I
dude.
came to you for the Tampa Bay one because I was like, dude, like, what do I do? Like, I didn't even. I was like, what? Do you know anything about Tampa? Because I was like, I fucking don't.
Well,
So.
that's the other reason why I really don't like Espo, dude. And
Mm,
and this is only personal experience because I've gone down to Tampa a lot. My grandmother still lives in Palm Harbor.
mm,
So I go down at least once a year and I've gone to Tampa Bay games. I went to the Bees game in Tampa in like February or March this year.
mm-hmm.
And those fucking Bolts fans, dude, like
They're
they all
awful.
think their shit doesn't stink now. Like
Is
it
it
is
is
unbearable.
is it not ironic that them and Toronto wear the exact same color of blue? Have you heard of this? They wear the same color code of blue.
Yeah, dude, same fucking hex code and everything. It's all the exact same thing and
And
you know,
their fans are identical. Their Tampa fans are the Toronto fans
but the big difference is when Toronto's garbage, they still have fans. You still you
yes,
see
that is
Leaf stuff
true.
everywhere. You go
Yeah.
back like 10 years ago when I went down there for the first few times, there were no Bolts
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah.
But they all turn out for a winner.
Well, and that's it. I was gonna say too. So when they like, cause it's just like this is just how we're. It's insane. The Bruins have been as good as they have for so long. Like
Yeah.
when you hear guys like JVR and Shaddy and like even Chason said it in his presser.
Yep.
The reason why he came here is because as long as he's been in the league, Bruins have been in first or second place. Like every year, right? And it's like, so now my I guess to like circle it back around. Do you think that hockey's gonna fall off if Tampa's shit in like 4 or 5 years? Like when Stamkos retires and Hedman's done, like you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you think it's just gonna like
Absolutely.
fade away?
In Tampa, if they stop having a competitive team, just
It's
like it
over.
is with the Bucks, and just like nobody goes to the fucking baseball games in Tampa.
It's true.
It's always empty at the Tropicana
Fucking,
Field.
it's so weird.
Nobody gives a fuck.
No.
Like
Yeah,
they
I saw
only like
Baker
winners.
Mayfield is fucking quarterback for the Bucks right now, and I was
Yeah,
laughing
dude.
so hard today. I was like, how do you go from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield?
Holy shit, dude. I know, right?
Oh fuck.
Fucking unbearable.
It's insane. I know. That's. I swear, guys, that's the last football talk.
No
But
worries. Well,
I
on the
do
two
get
pad
where you're
stack, we
coming
we
from.
talk about New England sports in general from time to time, so
Yeah,
it's
that
all
is
good.
true. That is true.
All
That is
good.
true.
Um, any games you're looking forward to? Are you going to any games this year?
I'm coming down for the first Toronto game, November 2nd, I think it is.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the first Thursday in November. So if you want to go, if you want to meet fucking Canadian, your Canadian boy Brett in real life, I'm talking to the listeners too. I'll be there and I'll be fucking square. I probably won't be square. Let's be serious. I'll probably be in my shit kick.
You'd be
I'll be really
hammered, but
shit
that's all
kicked.
right.
Yeah, but I'm really excited for the first Florida game against the Panthers. I'm very curious to see how the Bruins Dude, it was heartbreaking. Like, think about how many. Me and my brother were talking about it today, and like, he was like, if you run that 99 more times, the Bruins win that series. There was just something in the wall. Like, you know what? It's one of those, you're not gonna win. It doesn't fucking matter what you do. Like, Pasternak fucking hits Bobrovsky's stick in Game 7. The Marchand breakaway, Allmark passing the puck to. You know what I mean? Like, just so many things that like there's no way that should have happened like that. I don't. So
Oh,
I'm
dude.
curious to see how, especially if Marshy gets the C. Sorry, Berge. I'm very curious to see how that first game with Florida is.
I'm gonna have PTSD for this series for a while because like I've said on previous pods, I went down to Florida
Mm-hmm.
with my
I know,
daughter for game 3 and 4, and we came home after just
grinning.
absolute me and my daughter, like Arya probably saw the worst of me because I'm standing up like yelling at old Florida fans that they need to
Mm-hmm.
calm down or AARP is gonna withhold their benefits and stuff and doing shit like that, and people are like, go back to Boston, and because I'm not from Boston, I'm like, I don't even live in Boston, so I'm just shit talking all these fucking people. And we were going home with a 3-1 series lead, and oh my god, like it seemed like it took an act of God for Florida to pull that
It was
off.
Kachuk. It was Kachuk. He's a game breaker, and like I still think Pasternak's the best right winger in all of hockey, which is it's kind of not really fair because Kachuk plays right and left wing, so like he's left-handed shot. So like I don't know if we're gonna do that, but I think it just was the perfect fucking storm. Like I still I don't know, me and my brother last night we were just getting drunk and we were just like talking about it, and I was just like, man, it's he like I don't know, I don't want to open old wounds obviously, but one question I have for you: were you wearing your Crocs at the game?
No, dude, I embraced the Croc lifestyle after that.
Oh,
I will say,
my brother. I just want to say quick. My brother. I told my brother was coming on with you. He's a fellow Croc wearer, and he was like peak
hell
male
yeah,
performance, and I was like,
it
no
is, dude.
fucking way. Ace says the same
It is. You may not like it, but this is what peak male performance looks like.
thing.
I swear to God, my dick grows 3 inches when I wear those things.
It doesn't invert anymore.
I'm a shower and no longer a grower.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I was wearing my Birkenstocks actually.
Oh, yeah, that's not bad. That's not
Yeah,
bad. I
some
can
some
fuck with that.
Birkenstock
Yeah.
sandals there down there.
Yeah.
But when you have to, I don't know if you know this, but down there in Sunrise, um, the parking is kind of a shitty
I
situation.
heard it's kind of like the Senators setup, right? It's like
Yeah, so it's a
it's
little like it's not in Miami, obviously. Like you're
mhm.
you're still like 45 minutes away
But it's
from
like one
Miami proper.
one way in and one way out, right?
Yeah, so what I ended up doing is we ended up not renting a car at all. So what we did is there's a gigantic mall next to the arena down there.
Okay.
So we ended up Ubering in, me and my daughter, like 5 hours before the game, and we
Yep.
would go to the mall and have like lunch and dinner and shit,
Hmm.
and uh, and then we would just walk to the arena. It would just be like a 10-minute walk to get to the arena from the mall.
That's not bad.
But
Yeah, dude, fucking Ottawa is the complete opposite. It's in the middle of nowhere.
oh really?
Oh yeah, they got to move that fucking. They got to build that arena downtown. They have to. Like,
Who ended up getting the Senators franchise? I know there was like talk of like Snoop Dogg and Ryan Reynolds and all
I'm,
these people.
I, I don't know the guy's name, but I
Yep.
think there was some shady shit that went on. I know there was like
Mm,
the process was really drawn out, right?
yep.
There was a lot of clauses. Um, I don't like the NHL wanted the celebrities coming in, but like the fucking government did. It's just a big fucking, you know. It's sad because Ottawa has some of the best fucking fans. When I go up there and see Bruins games, they're fucking high fiving after the game, win or lose, go
Yeah.
to drinks to the bars with it. Like the best Canadian people you could ever imagine, right?
Yep.
And it's small town. This is a shitty thing. Canada is a small town, but that's also the problem. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Hmm.
you after the game you have like an hour before everything's closed. Like everything closes at like 8 o'clock there. It's like and like I said, it's one way in, one way out. I don't know. I'm excited to see what they can do this year. I really hope. I think it's fun when Ottawa's good because they kick the shit out of the Leafs too, right?
Kicked the shit out of us too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that first game against us this year was a fucking rope a dope.
That and the Hamburglar when he stole our playoff
Oh
spot that
yeah.
one year.
Oh, the ironic flip pass from Carlson to Hoffman. Very
That
ironic
other
now.
fucking series. Oh my god,
Yeah,
dude, I know.
very
Yeah,
ironic.
they had our number. I mean, I feel like we've had their number overall in the last 10 years, but they had their moments where they punched the Bruins right in the
Little
fucking
brother,
nose.
little brother punched up a couple times, and
Absolutely.
to be honest, those fucking Ottawa teams were sick from like 2015 to 2017 with like Stone, fucking Duchesne, like they went off.
You hit the rewind button even further. You have fucking Danny fucking Heatley who got
Oh
50.
yeah, yeah, '06 and '07,
Oh
baby.
yeah, baby.
Shout out Heat Daddy. But
um,
one thing I was gonna ask you quick: Are you
yeah.
nervous about your daughters growing up and listening to your podcast?
Oh Jesus Christ, dude! I haven't put any thought about that. Like, I'm not
This is
that
why I
much
don't have
different.
kids.
I'm not that much different on this than what I am like how
Yeah,
I conduct myself
yeah.
otherwise. And the way I look at it is, I have a potty mouth. It's not any secret here. I think it has to do with growing up in New England. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people in this area,
East
we
Coast, I get
all
it.
swear in general. And so I try to be very transparent. I never want to misrepresent who I am,
Mm-hmm.
and how I am and how I conduct myself to my kids is probably not looked upon favorably by like psychologists and shit like that. But my kids always know that I'm going to be genuine, and I
Yeah.
want them to be like, I'm never going to have to think about what my dad is saying to me because it's going to be very transparent. And a lot of the shit I say too, I'm a very PC person. If you don't know, I find myself on the liberal side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very sorry if I disagree with you politically, but that's where I'm at. I've got my sister's non-binary. She
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. They don't identify. I just said she. There we
Yeah.
go. But they don't identify as either gender. So I try to keep an open mind to these things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the way I look at it is, I want my children to be exposed to the way that life is from me because I'm able to control the environment in which they're exposed to these things and not let that be done by other people. And
Mm-hmm.
that way, if my kids are ever like uncomfortable with anything or they have questions about things, they can ask me and I can educate them
Mm-hmm.
versus letting them use their own inferences to build their understanding of the world around them.
Yeah. No, and
So
that like to add on to that, like I've seen like not firsthand because I haven't met you in person yet, but I see you online. I talk to you like we're friends, obviously, right? Like I know how we play video games offline streaming. I hear you with your kids, and I know how you are with your wife and all that stuff. So I completely understand where you're coming from or not coming from, what you're saying, and yeah, I was just curious because like I'm not in that boat, right? Like I thought about it the other day. I was like, man, if I ever have kids and they hear what the fuck I say on Only Bruins, I was like, holy fuck.
that's it, man. Like we're in uncharted territory. Like if I could go
Yeah.
back and see a recording of all the shit my dad said when I was
Oh
like a
God.
5-year-old,
Oh
I would go
God.
back and I would hold that over his head until like today.
Mm.
Like it would be so fucking funny to do that. But I mean,
But
the world's changing, man. Like we're in a
yeah,
different world than what it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
yeah, and like you said too, like the way you raise your kids, like I definitely think that they'll they know who you are, right? And you're the like you just said, like that's why people ask me, like, are you really like that on the podcast? I'm like, oh, you should fucking you see, like I'm like this all the time. This is who we are, right? Like people think we put these acts on for this shit, and it's just not the case. And so that's why I was curious because like I know who you are. I know what type of man you are. We share a lot of the same values and a lot of different things. We have had great conversations offline about stuff, and it just makes me laugh thinking about that. Like you said, it's a weird uncharted thing that we're dealing with right now. And but like you said, the way you raise your kids, they'll definitely be like, oh, that's dad, right?
Oh yeah, they're gonna be like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be dead and gone, and they're gonna go back and like watch these podcasts and be like, oh, listen to dad like shit on Leafs fans. That
Yeah.
was such a good time
Yeah.
when he made fun of all those Toronto fans. You remember
Yeah.
that?
It'll be
Yeah,
so
like
funny. It'll be so funny when Rask's in the Hall of Fame and they're like, "Well, I can't believe Dad didn't think Rask was gonna get in the Hall of Fame."
yeah. So much for those games played, Dad. Yeah,
No, yeah, but
Tuca's gonna be admitted to the Hall of Fame posthumously, and I'm gonna be right there with him.
yeah.
What the fuck, dude? Um,
Oh fuck.
what do you think about the jersey situation? I know I talked a little bit about it with Burge.
Mm.
I know we've talked about it on the OB podcast before we knew like anything about what's going on with the Centennial shit. But
Hmm.
like, what are your thoughts? Are you gonna pick up any Centennial sweaters?
Oh man, my bank account is gonna be fucking ruined after this season. Like, I'm getting a Lucic one for sure, right? Like, I think that's consensus. Yeah, like at this point.
I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think yeah, a lot of people like. I might even get a Bergeron. Like, I'm not even fucking joking. Like, I know he's not gonna wear it, but like, oh god, they're gonna be so clean. Like I've heard what they look like. I've told you and showed you what the rumors and then the logo coming out kind of just like put it all together into what we've heard, we thought, the rumors. That mock up I made of the third jerseys is what I've been told is going to be very similar to that. That's another one you got to add. Like, apparently, there might be a couple surprise jerseys during the season. Like, this is going to be fucking out of control, man, with how much money. And this is the problem I'm having. I want a Lucic because, fuck yeah. But am I going to get any other players? Like, I don't know. Because because of how sweet these jerseys are gonna be and what they mean over the course of the 100 years and all the like, do I get a Bork? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's
That's the
like,
thing too. Like, I don't know how much there's going to be available on the alumni side of things. So
yeah,
I thought about it from the current roster perspective and not on the alumni side of things.
Zaka.
So
You said Zaka. That's a
I said
fucking good
Zaka.
one.
Yep.
That's a good one.
So I'm thinking Zaka. I'm thinking Lucic, and I am thinking Linus Olmark.
What if he gets traded? I've always wanted to ask you
That's the
this.
big question.
Are you gonna wait till after the season to get it? The Allmark one?
So I mean, the reason why I'm going Olmark is it's just it's a guess for me, right? Yeah, because
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Jeremy Swayman's going to have the higher trade value. He's still a
Oh, I
restricted
know.
free agent. The other team's going to have more value in the fact that they can negotiate directly with Swayman.
Well, like we
I
talked
don't.
about this too, when I like we heard the rumors about Swayman for Shane Wright or whatever, right, or a top prospect, let's say, and we were both like when we talked about it off, like obviously off air and in DMs and stuff, we were both like, "Fuck, would you do it?" Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like that. It's like it's like that. I don't know. Like you've got a Vesna winner right here. Yes, Swayman is Swayman, and he should be a Vesna winner. But what if he doesn't? Like goalie, goaltending. It's the one of the fucking hardest position. It's the hardest position in fucking hockey, and especially stay consistent. And like people are saying that they think that Allmark's gonna take a step back this year, and it's just like I don't know, man. Like fuck, it's so. I don't know how. I don't know. I don't know how I want to. How I think. I don't know. I don't know. Fuck, it's so hard because I would hate to trade Swayman because I just fucking love him so much and he's homegrown. But like you said, if you're gonna get full fucking like two firsts, like value wise, and
Yeah,
a and or B prospect and then another prospect, like that's a fucking haul.
yeah, dude. And that's the thing though. Like I feel like the fact that Swayman is younger and he is a restricted free agent. I have a feeling that when the decision finally comes to choose one of these two goalies, I feel like the fact that goalie Bob has successfully transformed Linus Olmark into this already, there's that level of comfort there. And
Mm-hmm.
the trade value for Jeremy Swayman would be higher than what it is for Linus Olmark.
And
And
was it?
I honestly, before Brett, sorry,
Yeah, no,
before
no, no.
I would have traded Swayman last season or this previous offseason.
That's the
I would have done it.
conversation we had. That's right. Like when me and you were talking about it originally, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I just heard that fucking like Swayman could be available for a top prospect," and we were going back and forth about it. It's just like I don't know. I kind of was like, it's so funny because I had such a swing at the trade deadline. I was like, yeah, trade Swayman, and then fucking after the season, I was like, trade Allmark. You know what I mean? Like it's like I yes, I jump back and forth, but you know what was really interesting to me too. Then you talk about the Allmark thing. Was hearing him say publicly that him and goalie Bob butted heads the first year, and you could tell. You could fucking tell the way that Allmark played in his first season. And you know what's crazy that I don't get fucking credit for, which I don't need the credit, but it's a throwaway funny thing that I just said. On the Beehive podcast that I previously had with Kevin O'Keefe, I said on there that Allmark's gonna win the Vezina in his second season with the Bruins, and he fucking
Nice.
did.
Nice fucking call. But that's the thing, like I feel like despite him butting heads, it goes back to what Tuca talked about on that Chicklets pod, right?
Hmm.
Like Tuca was talking about how a lot of other goalie coaches in the league, they just teach their way. They don't
Hmm.
analyze the goalie and figure out something that will fix that goalie's, ability. Goalie
Hmm.
Bob looks at things from a holistic level and identifies what a goalie's shortcomings are and what they need to do to be more successful. He did it with Tim Thomas. There's a reason why the Bruins have had a track record of fantastic goalies for the last 20 years. He did it with Tim Thomas. He did it with Tuukka Rask. He's now done it with Linus Ullmark.
Let's talk about Dan Vladar for a second. We got a third fucking round pick because he completely changed his game around.
Yeah, dude. Like that was I remember when we drafted him, I went to dev camp
Mm,
and I saw him play and I was like, this is a gigantic fucking goalie.
massive.
And he wasn't very technically sound.
Yeah, he was clunky, right?
He was very unrefined, not very well processed, but as the years went by, you could see him starting to put it together.
Mm-hmm.
And then Swayman came in, and it's like, well, shit, we have a goalie logjam. Kind of not all that different from where we're at right this second, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But we ran out of time to sign Vladar or Vladic, if you ask some Czech people.
Yeah.
We ran out of time to sign him to a two-way deal. He was on a situation where he was going to be, exposed to waivers
Type
and
6, right? Or whatever it's
very
called.
intelligent. Yeah, yeah, and it was a
Yeah.
very intelligent move by Don Sweeney to say, "I'm not going to lose this guy for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's send this guy out to Calgary for a third-round pick."
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like it was like Swayman was clearly ready. Like what were you gonna keep him in Providence? Like you brought him down to Providence, and what did he didn't let a goal in, right? In like 3 or 4 games, that
He was
whatever it
lights out,
was.
dude.
Yeah, and then he came back up, and that it was funny because COVID was weird. Swayman kind of came in, and was what it was, and then that whole thing happened. Tuukka Rask came back, Swayman went down, tore it up, and then came up. And remember, they went on that West Coast trip, and Swayman put up like ridiculous numbers on that West Coast trip. And that's when we were like, oh, what the fuck is Allmark? Remember, people were like, what is this? Like, why did we even
When we
sign him?
signed him, everybody's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. And the funniest thing is Elliot Friedman was the only one that was like, I think Boston's the perfect spot for Allmark. And I think it's because like behind the scenes, but goalie Bob is so respected in the NHL.
No, not just that. I think behind the scenes too. Like, I mean, let's be honest. The vast majority of the fans, when they signed Allmark, we still had Tuukka Rask in tow.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, why the fuck did we sign this guy for 4 years for $5 million per year? They knew that it was probable that Tuca's career was in
Yeah,
the twilight.
I think he was trying to be strong, Tuca, like being like, I'm coming back, I'm coming back. But I think everyone and their fucking brother and sister knew in that
Yeah.
organization that Tuca was done.
Donnie knew from the medical staff that it was unlikely that Tuca was ever going to be able to be the same Tuca. And
You,
I don't know this. I haven't been told this. But I mean, you put the math together. Generally speaking, Donnie gets this information and works with it
mm-hmm.
before it ever comes to the front. I mean, that's the same thing with these retirements this year, right?
Oh yeah,
Like you
they
saw
knew.
those videos that were released by the Bruins PR. Like those guys were all doing those thank you Bergie, thank you
Yeah,
Krejci from breakup day. Like the
yeah.
front office knew about this. Not a single person in the media found out about those two already making their decision at the very end of the season until the PR staff put out those tweets like thank you Bergie, thank you Krejci.
Well, what's really interesting is like I guess I forget what podcast I was listening to, and they were talking about how the last 5 years Bergeron's played every year. He's like, I'm not coming back. Like even when he had a contract, he was thinking about retiring, and then you get mid into the summer, and then from what I've heard, this year was like different when he said it. Like he was exhausted, he's hurt. You know, the stuff with his father's weighing on him, the a newborn child on the way. Like, you know, there was just too many tangibles, and we wanted to believe, obviously, because why the fuck not? He's the greatest two-way player of all time, in my opinion, and we wanted to believe he would be back. And I think if he could have done it and circumstances were different, he would have. Obviously, it being the 100th season, but it's like I talked about this on Only Bruins. I kind of am excited for this new chapter,
Yeah.
and it's nothing against Bergeron, Krejci, Tuukka Rask, all those guys. It's more to do with okay, let's see what's up now. Because like, how long have we been sitting here talking, Ace? Me and you, like on podcasts together about selling the farm for fucking Bergeron, right? And it's like it has nothing to do with Bergeron and the fact that like it's not his fault we didn't win another fucking cup. That guy gave us everything he fucking could.
Yeah.
It's more or less like
It's Tuukka's. I'm just kidding.
yeah, you piece of shit. But it's more or less the whole like, all right, now it's time to try something different. You know, like
It is, and I think that it's bittersweet for me because, as I said to Burge, and I'm sure you guys talked about it on the OB podcast, like it's a bit of my childhood that is
yeah,
put to bed finally here. I mean, I grew up. I mean, obviously, I've said this on previous pods here, but I had my Joe Thornton jersey on
mm-hmm,
in my 8th grade school photo,
mm-hmm,
and Bergeron started not long after that,
mm-hmm.
and I grew up watching this team go from mediocrity to being the fucking middling team that could never do anything right, to watching this young kid from French Canada
18 years old.
make the team as a second round pick, which was unheard of. It still is unheard
He
of
would have went
as
first
a
overall if you redo that draft.
absolutely
Yeah.
as a natural rookie, becoming the best two-way forward of all time.
Mm,
And I can just say, as I have a signed Bergeron jersey directly over my right shoulder,
fuck
that
yes.
he was the greatest forward that I ever had the pleasure of watching as a Bruins fan. And I'm incredibly appreciative of the fact that I was able to see him play. I'm exponentially more appreciative of the fact that I was able to meet him,
Mm-hmm.
and he took the time to chat with me and my wife. And just my favorite one of probably my favorite Bruin of all time, honestly,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh,
Like,
and the best part about it is he's the greatest human. Like he's a better human than he was hockey player, and that's fucking saying something. And when you have Crosby being like, "I'm not playing on the Olympics unless Bergeron's on the fucking team," like they were thinking about not taking him in that 2010
I
team for
heard that.
whatever fucking reason, and Crosby's the reason he was on that fucking team.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Unbelievable that
because
that was even a thing.
and that's the thing too. Like you mentioned, the adult. Like I'm getting chills right now thinking about this. That the greatest World Juniors team to ever fucking be assembled. The Crosby, Bergeron, Perry, Subban, Carey Price. Like they fucking. I don't think Carey Price. He let him one goal the whole fucking tournament or something
Wasn't
like that.
Getzlaff on that team too?
Getzlaff. Like it was
Yeah.
a stacked fucking team.
Just a
And I
nasty team.
yeah, and I think about as a kid watching that team, and like we as Canadians, we got to get out of class to go watch that like those games and
No
shit, right?
way. Are you
Yeah,
serious?
man. Yes, and like,
That's crazy.
and in my we I didn't know this shit then, but he was like sorry, I knew he was a drafted Bruin, right? Obviously, but I didn't think like he's a Bruin. Do you know what I mean? Like prospects
Yeah.
weren't a thing to me at that
Yeah.
time. You know, and and like you said, I'm so fucking appreciative that I got to watch him play. Like, you know, like he almost didn't even have a career. You know, like
I
after that
know, dude.
concussion, and it's just like it warms my heart that he got a cup. I wish we should have fucking at least had one more for him. 2019 will forever. I'll never fucking forgive fucking Don
Nope.
Sweeney for not going all in that year. I'll never
Nope. Or
fucking
Brad
forgive him.
Marchand for that fucking line change.
Oh, everyone just gave up, and you know it is what it is. Tuukka got left out to dry. Everyone blames Tuukka for that game. It's like, bro, holy shit, there was so many other problems going on there. But
Yeah.
like, I won't dwell on that. But
Yeah, we don't need to
like,
rehash that
yeah,
again.
yeah. I don't. I was about to cry, and now I'm really about to cry. But it just that you know, like I've said, if anyone listens to OB, you know, I've said this before, and I think I did cry a little bit on that podcast when he fucking retired. But we're so lucky to watch him. I never would hold ill will for him retiring. Like, I'm so happy he's starting like his second life, like these players. He gets to be, that's what he said in an interview at French media. He gets to be a dad finally. And it almost broke my fucking heart.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be worse for you on OB than what it was for me, where I
Mm.
literally went out there and I was like, "Oh yeah, Bergeron will be 97% back," and the day my inaugural episode drops, he fucking announces that he's done. Like that should have been a fucking omen that I should have just stopped
Yeah.
recording podcasts in general. But
We
here
should have
we
got
are.
clickbait quotes to fucking quote tweet that.
Yeah,
No, but
right.
I know you, man. I said the same thing. We all thought it was up until Marina, sorry, came on our podcast and she said that thing about him getting his nose done, and I fucking was like, it's over. Right then and there, I was like, you don't get, this, you don't get your teeth fixed till you're done, unless you're Pasternak and you just, that's your vibe, whatever it is, what it is. But like most of these guys, they don't get their faces or teeth fixed until it's all over, right? Again,
Yeah,
I don't. It just, I'm. Are you curious about Brad Marchand this year?
I'm interested to see what he does.
He's only played on the line with Bergeron his whole fucking
Yeah,
career, other than like half a season, right?
and then when Jim Montgomery's like, "I'm gonna fuck with the Lions,"
Oh,
and
that
things
was
went
fucking
south.
hilarious.
Yeah, it didn't go well.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I'm excited to see what Marchand does. He's gonna, when he plays with Bergeron, he seems to always kind of embrace that playmaker mode because he loves Bergie so much. He wants to feed him for a lot of goals.
Mm-hmm.
I hope to kind of see a little bit more of a killer instinct in Brad.
Selfish.
It's
Yeah.
it's your time, Brad. You're the guy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's see you instead of passing up that shot and throwing it to the middle to Bergie. Let's see you take that shot because I know you fucking have it. I've seen it a million times.
And I'm curious about the power play. Like exactly what you just said. How many times did we watch him get that puck from JD in the corner and tap
Mhm.
it over to Bergeron?
Right into the bumper. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's gonna be weird. Like, what is Coyle? Like, I don't fuck. I'm
Old
so.
habits die hard. He's gonna find Van Riemsdyk in that slot in the
Oh
bumper.
yeah, man. Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
that
net front and bumper. It's gonna be Van Riemsdyk, I think.
I'm excited for this season. It's so fucking weird. Like, you think with all the trauma we went through this off season that, like, especially like you get this as a podcaster as well and somebody who's in multimedia, you have to roll with the punches when
Yep.
it's your team, right? Like, this is what it is. So I'm gonna comment on what I think is right or wrong, and you don't have to listen to me or believe me or think I'm fucking right at all. But it is what it is, and it just I'm excited as a podcaster and I guess media guy, and even though whatever we do, what we do, I'm just excited for this season and to see where it all ends up because like I saw today that some analytic people said that their model doesn't have the Bruins in the playoffs, and I was like, okay, well, fucking neither did anyone else's last year, and I'm pretty sure Biz Nasty said on fucking Chicklets the Bruins aren't making the playoffs, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
you never know what's gonna fucking happen, and I I don't know, I'm worried about goal scoring, but I think we're gonna have like I really think it's gonna be like old school Bruins vibes, like banging bodies, down low cycles, and and a big fucking component to this is Jim Montgomery. Can he
Yep.
bounce back?
It's on you now, Jimmy boy.
You
Like
can't let
last
the
year,
inmates run the
Patrice and the
asylum.
leadership, they coached on their own. You said it many times in your interviews. You didn't have to say anything. These guys were doing their own thing. Now it's on you, buddy.
We
Like,
talked about
and
that when you came on a trade deadline, right? About how
Mhm.
we were kind of annoyed. He said that Bergeron should be coaching the team and that like he just sits back and watches them. Like, it's like, bro, it bit you in the ass in the playoffs when Bergeron was fucking at home hurt.
Like if I went and I said to the press that I don't actually do my job and other people do my job for me, I wouldn't have a job.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's your job to fucking coach. And I understand you need to have respect
Mm-hmm.
and give maybe Patrice Bergeron a different, degree
Yeah.
of leeway. Not that he needs leeway, not that he would take advantage of it, but treat him differently than what you would like a guy on a 1 year deal or anything. He has a
Mm-hmm.
legacy with the team. He obviously is the hardest worker on the team. you give him
No
runway.
days
But
off.
when it became time to finally coach, it seemed like Jim Montgomery wasn't ready to coach.
Yeah, I'm still shocked that Swayman didn't start game two. I still, especially now that we like, it hasn't been said, but like we've both heard from different people, and it's kind of a scuttlebutt that Omar cracked / broke his rib when he ran into that post in one of the last games of the season when they took him out of the net. Okay, well then be a fucking coach. You're the third best goalie in the league. Put him in the fucking net, like beside Allmark, right?
I mean, even Tuca said it on the Chicklets interview. Like, why are we expecting a different result when we suddenly tap somebody on the shoulder and expect him to play, 8, 9, 12, 14, 20 games in a row?
Mm-hmm.
He never did that in the regular season. It was a tandem the entire time.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we expect it to be different. Like, no wonder he got injured. You guys are playing him 4 or 5 games in a row. He never played 4 or 5 games in a row in the regular season.
He didn't even fucking do that in Buffalo, and he's
Mm-hmm.
very injury prone. Like it was insane. We got through the whole season without an Allmark injury. I thought. Like, and I know he's been working on his knees, and you know what that's fucking about. It's fucking tough
Mm-hmm.
either way, right? And goalie Bob's completely changed his style, so he's not on his knees as much. Great, awesome. Okay, but then we had a freak. This is a fucking dumb thing about last season. The amount of freak accidents or freak bullshit, like things that happened that,
Which
like
is
I
so funny
mentioned,
to say after we had the historically best regular season ever.
It's 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 shocking. It was shocking. We talked about it off like not on podcast. We are both fucking stunned. Like I don't think I talked to Boosie, you guys, or anybody for like a week just trying to figure out what the fuck happened. And it was just like there was no, and even the players had no answers. And like they're professional athletes. You gotta fucking brush it off. You gotta come. If he fucking lets the inmates run the asylum this year, do you want
He
Montgomery to
can't.
coach it? Yeah,
He
like
can't.
he can't coach the team of going further. And
Like, go ahead.
I
Finish your
was just gonna
finish your
say, and
point.
like, and his fucking story, coach of the year, the way he's recovered and become like the better person, all
Yep.
this fucking shit, and it's just like,
It's great.
yeah, but that all,
It's
like you
nothing.
said, you have to do your fucking job.
Do your fucking job.
Yeah.
I honestly to echo your point from earlier, like it's gonna be like old fashioned Bruins this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a 2-2 game in the third period instead
Yep.
of a 5-2 game. And it's gonna be we're pinned in our own zone and our defense is blocking shots and
Mm-hmm.
Swayman and Linus are gonna make a crazy save.
The
And
Minnesota
then
Wild the past couple years.
yeah, and then we're gonna dump it out and we're gonna be on the forecheck and Milan Lucic is gonna blow somebody the fuck up in the
Mm-hmm.
corner. The Garden's gonna interrupt. We're gonna get some pressure on the offensive side of things, and it's gonna be a greasy goal that gets us a win.
Jake
That's
DeBrusk
gonna
squeaks
happen.
one in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jake DeBrus. We're gonna see,
I want to see
all
some
sorts of
greasy
fucking
goals from
guys.
Saka this season. I'm
Brent
really excited.
Frederick's gonna get some
Yeah.
gritty ones.
Make geeky. If it doesn't work out, we're fucked with
I
geeky.
look forward to seeing him play this
Oh,
year.
absolutely. But can we not agree if it doesn't work out, we're so fucked. And
I
that's
mean, it's
third
only a
line
2-year
center.
deal.
No, I just mean the third line center thing. I'm not worried about the money or the deal or the player
Okay.
himself. I just mean like how long have we been talking now that Charlie Coyle is the best third line center in fucking hockey,
You mean
right?
first line center, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It I did like his comments. Like I know me and you are both on the same page. He's not a first line center. He's not a second
No.
line center. Like in
No.
a pinch, he's the second line center. Like out of
Yeah.
25 games a year, right? Right.
Although I will give him credit in those first 2 games against Florida when he was as
He
that
went
1C
off.
role,
Yeah.
he played
What?
fantastically.
But he's a playoff player. He is like he just kind of
He
gets
is.
by through the regular season. Like he remember the first year we got him, we were like, "What the fuck is this? Why did we make this trade?" Like everyone was pissed we traded
And then he
Donato.
popped the
And he
fuck off.
that goal against Columbus in the second round, holy fucking overtime, holy shit! It
And
also
that playoff run too.
probably a dream
And
come true for him, eh?
yeah,
That
he was
that
on the team in 19, wasn't he?
yeah, that was that year, yeah.
Yeah, dude, he popped the fuck off on
Him and
that line with
Johansson.
Ryan Joe. Who
Yeah.
was the third on that line? I
Wasn't it
forget.
Heinen? I swear it was
Probably.
Heinen.
Yeah,
I know.
and we haven't talked about that
I
on this
know.
pod yet, but
I know.
PTO Danton Heinen is back in town, and that's
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
I I I okay, I just choked on my words there for a second, but I think Jason's pissed because like I heard his interview and I was like, man, that was your spot. on the like with the PTO, and like if Chason thought he was getting a spot, like I don't think Heinen's gonna play on the fourth line if he wins the position. But like, would you be mad at a Heinen geeky Frederick line? I think it could be very fucking interesting.
See, in my perspective, and I'm probably the vocal minority here. I don't think Frederick is as good as everybody thinks he is.
No, I
I
know
think
that.
he is a fourth line player, and I think that that is where he's best suited. I think when we start playing him outside of that fourth line player role, he begins to play out of what makes him successful. He
But this
starts to
goes back
think
to
he's a scorer.
Montgomery. This
It
goes back to
does.
Montgomery because
It does.
Montgomery claimed last year that he wasn't playing in the playoffs because he's not a fourth line player. And I don't think anybody fucking agreed with that, first of all, because we had Greer and Lauko in there, which is, I don't think they're bad players, but when you're riding Frederick, all you know what I mean? Like, and that it's such a weird cop out. But if you're claiming he's this top nine player now, you better fucking utilize him properly next year, and you better hope to fucking god that Taylor Hall wasn't the main reason he got those fucking 18 goals or whatever he got, right?
Yeah, dude, and I'm right there with you. Like, I feel like a lot of that was just a result of the teammates he or the line mates he was playing with.
Yeah.
He cleaned up a lot of garbage. No, I don't want to diminish his accomplishment. 18 goals. He was like the third highest 5-on-5 scorer on the team, which is
Hmm.
something to be said.
He
So
played
I'll give
tough
him
minutes
credit,
too.
but I don't think he's passed the eye test,
Hmm.
and I
I
think he
get it.
had. I think he probably overproduced based upon the opportunities he was presented with, and I don't believe that he will continue that pace.
This is my
So,
thing. Charlie Coyle with Frederick is like, there was, I don't know what the numbers were analytically and stuff, but 5 on 5 minutes, it was like Frederick and Coyle together were like, I think it was like 32 goals for and like 10 against or something like that. And then Coyle by himself, he was just getting like caved in, which is like such a weird thing to think. But either way, some players, you know this, some players just click, they work well together, and it is what it is, right? And then you like we talked about half from fucking what the new year on, Taylor Hall is riding shotgun with them. So it's like you have a fucking former MVP, 100-point player a couple times in his life. Like you're gonna get. It's the same thing if you put someone with Pasta. I think I'd get fucking 10 goals, right? Like it's like it is what it is. But my, this is my thing with Montgomery. If you're gonna be this guy, you're gonna claim Fredericks is this guy, but then you're gonna come out and be like, my top six is veteran. Like, I'm torn because I get what you're saying. Frederick might not. He could have just had a really good year and a contract season, right? If we see it for all the fucking time. But if you're claiming he's this guy, why aren't you putting him with Coyle and Marchand to start the year, right? Like if he's this analytic darling that
yeah.
is not not a fourth liner anymore, well, where's the balls? Right? Like, and it's like I want JVR with Pasta and Zaka because I think it's gonna rejuvenate his game. And plus, I don't know if you heard, but JVR, I guess his knees are doing great and he looks really good out on the ice skating around,
Good.
which is huge positive because we played against. He was a B killer when he was on the Leafs. He fucking
Shout out
crushed us.
University of New Hampshire. Let's go.
Yeah, UNH product. Shout out 411 Lauren, skating under the bar. But you know what I mean? It's like it's the same as like you can't let the inmates run the asylum. So like it's like, Montgomery, are you gonna nut up or shut up here? Like what's going on? Like, uh,
Yeah,
uh,
and I mean on the personnel side of things, like I see JVR playing that net front presence, and then I feel like if we sign Chase on, like
mhm.
that PP2 role right
Oh
there
yeah,
in the net front once again. They're like the same kind of fucking player. Like
dude, he's
just
a
park him
Stanley
out front.
Cup winner.
Hmm.
I forgot about that, honestly. And I was listening to him talk, and he said the year after he won the cup, he had to take a PTO in Edmonton. And then I remember that year in Edmonton. Remember how many power play goals he got? It was like 20 or something like that. It was something
Something
fucking
stupid.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
I okay. You're a nerd just like me. You like Marvel and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Do you not think that Don Sweeney is kind of like Thanos collecting Infinity Stones with bottom six players right now, and just like hoping to God it works out? Right?
Yeah,
Like
dude. Like
it,
he's like, if I bring in all these people into training camp, one of them's gonna work out, right?
right?
Like, fuck.
It's like it's just, and then it's like also too. It's you know how it works. You bring in good players or you bring in players to push your other players, like, in training camp and stuff like this. But then there's also the notion that most teams like Tuukka Rask are picked before training camp even fucking starts. So it's like, I'm very curious to see I think this is the first training camp in a long time that we actually have to pay attention to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Like it's gonna be great to see, and I'm also excited for the prospects challenge, which is
Oh yeah,
actually
I'm
happening
going.
this week.
Yeah, I'm going on
Um,
fucking Saturday.
yeah, so it's going down on this Friday the 15th on September,
Mhm.
Saturday the 16th, and actually Monday the 18th.
So weird.
Um, it is weird. They like skip
Yeah.
Sunday for
The
some
two
reason.
games are on Saturday though, because I think that's why I'm going Saturday. I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
I'm really intrigued to see what kind of goes down. I hope to see Matthew Poitras
Dude,
play.
I think okay, sorry to cut you off,
You're
but
good, dude.
I have a question to you about this because I'm a huge Courtois guy. I've seen him play live, and
Hmm.
I've from day. You know what's crazy is when they drafted him, I fucking ripped the pick. I was like, this is the dumbest pick. There was another guy I wanted. I don't even remember now, which is hilarious. But I was like, this is an awful pick. I can't believe we. And then I went and saw him live when Guelph came to play the Knights, and I was like, oh my god, I was so wrong. I was like, this kid's a pit bull out there, and he's like, yes, he's on the I say to people, he's like if Bergeron and Marchand were put into one person, and yet he might not have the skill total. Like, we don't know the career clearly. He's a fucking 18-year-old kid right now. But the way he fucking plays on the ice, he gets to the inside. You see now in this preseason, he's putting up fucking shorthanded goals. He put up 3 points the first game, 2 points the second game. Like, I'm really excited to see him in camp. I don't think he's gonna win a spot. Whatever, that's fine. But you're you like this is my problem. What if he fucking shows the fuck up, goes sicko mode in camp? Do you keep him for the 9 games?
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
right.
Yes. I mean, that's what
Yes,
happened with Bergeron, right? I
yes,
mean, he was
yes.
a second round pick. I mean, obviously, Poitras is not a natural rookie here. He's had another
Hmm.
year down, maybe a couple. I don't know.
He was
But
drafted. I think his first year was COVID, right? This is
yeah,
his
so
third season. Yeah,
21.
yeah,
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 okay.
yeah.
But like give him a chance. Like we're in a
Hmm.
position where we can afford to give some if he wants to show up and prove that he can play top 6 minutes in the NHL, fucking do it.
Seth
Like
Jarvis did it successfully for Carolina as a
right, dude.
19-year-old kid. Like, you see it all the fucking time. And I'm not saying push him into a spot. I'm saying
Make him
what the
earn it.
yeah, exactly. And then and that's another thing. Don't put him in camp with Liesel and fucking Harris and his wings. Like, you know what I mean? Like, see if he's got see what this fucking kid's got. Put him in
Mhm.
between Marchand and DeBrusque. See what the fuck he's got. Like,
Mhm.
play it out. And that's another thing too. Guess what? Doesn't work out in the first 5 games. You send him back to Guelph, and you don't even burn a year of his fucking contract. So so when he comes next year, and he probably will make the team in the way he's projecting so far,
Mhm.
you have 3 years at 800,000, yeah, close to 900,000 for a kid who will probably be playing top 6 minutes for you.
Absolutely. And I it wouldn't honestly surprise me to see him actually make the team this year. As weird as that is, I'm throwing it out there. He is my like
Dark
um
horse.
he's my dark horse to make it out of
Mm,
camp when people
same.
don't really expect it. I mean, look at it. We need centers. And if he
Yep.
can be a top 6
Right-handed
center
shot.
and put Zaka at the two, like maybe even Zaka 1C, Poitras 2C,
Hmm.
Coyle 3C, we're not hurting on depth.
You
Like,
know what I thought too is then you can have a line of geek. I know Geeky's supposed to come and play center, but like then you have a line of Geeky, Frederick, and fucking Coyle as your third line, and you instantly just became your depth is back.
I mean, and then our defense depth never went anywhere.
No, I love the people being like the Bruins defense could be good as last year. Bitch, we have the same fucking decor that we
Yeah.
did pre-trade deadline,
It's the
where
same.
we
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, a lot of changes." And the Bruins blew. Literally, the only fucking change is Clifton, and he got healthy scratch in the postseason
a-
anyway. So
and we
shut the
bring
fuck
in
up.
and we bring in Shattenkirk, who people are saying might be the best undercover signing of this year for $1 million, which is like, I want to see it. Obviously, like you never want ill will against any of the fucking players on in just across the league, clearly, but like.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be really good with our young guys. And like, what if Lorai comes out for a game or two? Like, you know what I mean? Like
He's somebody I
Shaddy,
wanted to talk about for the
yeah.
prospect thing that's going on here.
Oh,
So,
Lorai, yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah. We
I
can go
think
with
that
you. We
he'll
can go
be
with you.
there. I hope Lysel's there. I hope Lysel shows
Harrison
out
will be
better.
there.
Um, yeah, I hope Markulov, we can see him
Mm-hmm.
play. Um, do you
Ryan
think
Mast.
Beecher will be there? I think Beecher would probably be there at this
I don't
point.
know. Maybe he might be.
Loch Mellis.
Oh, I'm really fucking what's his name? Um low quality over on short shift. He's been a big
Yep.
Loch Mellis guy, and I'm riding that bandwagon too. I think maybe not a top 6 guy like he thinks, but I think he'll be a Bruin. It might take a couple years, but I think he'll play for the big club eventually.
Just like his friend, not friend, I don't know if they're actually friends, but they're countrymen, Bruins legend Casper's dog events.
Yeah, yo, I'm pretty sure that's Sully or Mel's character guy on Chell.
Yeah, in their Chell team. Yeah, dude.
But yeah, like this prospect challenge, I'm working on credentials for Prime Time Productions because I saw that they're giving them out, which would be cool because then I can bring my laptop and write some shit down and all that
Oh, yeah.
junk. But man, I'm so excited. And you know what? I'm so sick of fucking having like, yeah, okay, we don't have good prospect pool, whatever, fuck off. But this is how I looked at it. I said this on OB, and I think we talked about this when we were gaming one night. One of these fucking prospects and centers have to hit. Like
Yep.
Marchand wasn't a top prospect.
Mm-mm.
Lucic wasn't a fucking top prospect. Like, you know
Pasta
what I
wasn't
mean?
a top prospect.
No, and it's just like, it, I just think guys like Merkulov, Liesel had a tough year, man. He played so much hockey in such a fucking short span, and he just burnt out. And then that concussion, like
Yeah, against Hartford. Yep.
you know what's crazy? He looks like a man this year. Isn't that kind of weird? Like he was like a boy last year, and all of a sudden, oh, this summer he grew, and he's got a big jawline. I'm
What's
like,
really
holy
weird to
shit!
me is that he admitted that this was a summer that he couldn't work out as hard because
Yep.
of the
Well,
concussion
he
symptoms
couldn't
that were
even
lingering.
he couldn't fly over to development camp. He had to wait because like it was still within. So he got his bell rung. Like you know that if you can't get on a fucking plane, yeah, that means doctors are saying that shit to you, and that's like some serious
Yeah.
shit, right? So I'm really like you said, Courtois is gonna be there. Fucking, I think Harrison could be something. I think it might take a couple years, and he might only be a third liner, but I think he could really surprise us. Um, he's from London, Ontario. Take a drink, everybody. I'll drink with you. But I don't know, man. I'm really excited for this prospect challenge. I'm really excited to see what we have as an organization going forward because I'm in the boat of if test all these prospects and stuff out, and if it doesn't work and which ones you don't like or you don't like, retool, sell them off for picks, start over. We're in a new era, like it's like I'm done trading first round picks for fucking, unless it's somebody with term that is young that's gonna help us for the future. I'm
Yeah.
fucking
Yep.
done. I am done with that shit. And I get it. The draft is a fucking crapshoot, but hey, we got pasta. We got
We got
McAvoy.
Pasta. We got Charlie. Yeah, exactly. But it'll be interesting to see, and we're in a market where we're never gonna be a rebuilder, right?
Mm-mm.
The Jacobs family will never tolerate us being in the basement for like 5, 6 seasons, like what they're doing over in Buffalo and other markets.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think
and
me and
I
you both.
appreciate that
No,
personally.
yeah, I think me and you both talked about this before too, where we said I wouldn't mind a retool this year, like not retool to the point where you're selling guys off you shouldn't be, which had to happen anyways, but more in a retool, like okay, let's just kind of punt this till we have the money.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're in a spot where it's not fair for us to say to Pasta and Charlie McAvoy where we don't expect to win.
Yeah, because then you trade
But
them like Eric Carlson and Mark Stone, and then
yeah,
you know what I mean. And you become the Ottawa Senators for 8 years.
yeah, and we're not in a place where it makes sense to trade those guys either. Like it,
Lindholm is on one of the best fucking contract. Like, you know what I mean? Like that 6.5 in 2 years is gonna look unbelievable.
unbelievable. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Especially with the cap continuing to go up and everything.
I
But
can't believe
like
he signed 6.5 for 8 years. It's
like
fucking
this year is house money, right? The
yeah.
expectations are so low but I am actually low key optimistic about this team because of the expectations being exponentially lower. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they're kind of like as Coyle as you had alluded to, they're kind of like, you know what, you're all are fucking sleeping on us.
Mm-hmm.
Like just because Bergeron and Krejci are gone, we're still a good fucking team, and maybe other teams will come into the TD Garden and they'll say, okay, well, they don't have Bergeron or Krejci anymore. This is going to be an easier night, and hopefully that can motivate these guys to say, hey,
It's
I
gonna
can be a
happen.
number one center, I can be a second line center, and who knows, dude? Like, I'm excited to see how it goes. I think it will channel some of those late 2000s, early 2010s Bees teams that
Mm-hmm.
were having to work a little harder to score
Shit
goals.
pump. No shit
And
pump, guys. Literally.
exactly.
It's
And
just like
I
Shorzy says. Fucking fill them in and run them up, right? Like,
absolutely.
yeah, and that's like you heard the Coyle interview, obviously, which you were just kind of citing there. Dude, I was like, oh shit, this guy's like, he sounds like he's fucking ready for this year. And this is the thing that I don't get with people. We have two of the top five goalies, we have two of the top 10 defensemen, and we have the best right winger and a top five left winger. What's the fucking
Arguably, yeah,
problem?
arguably two top 10 wingers in the league.
Yeah, what the fuck is the problem? I'm so what like I've said before, like the Islanders have done it for years without having a number one C. Bergeron never put up like yes, it's what he did on the other side of the puck. I get that. That you got to keep the puck out of your fucking net. Islanders have been fine. Minnesota has been fine. All these teams that don't have true number one centers that figure it out in different ways. And you're telling me the Jennings and Vezina winner aren't gonna fucking hold their shit together this year? Like I just it might be recency bias, but I'm calling you fucking crazy if you think the Bruins aren't making the playoffs next year.
Yeah, dude, I 100% agree. I think it's just exhaustion at this point because so many of these fans are wanting to see change because change is fun. You know, it gets exhausting to see the same three teams representing a division in the
Mm-hmm.
postseason every single time, and that can kind of, I
It's
think,
fucking Gary's
outweigh.
fault.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, fuck you, Gary. You're gonna have to take down Brett in that pay per view later on. But I think like that recency bias and that exhaustion can get in the way of people's critical thinking skills and say, you know, the Bruins just had two guys that are big roles on their team retire. I'm so tired of seeing the Bruins in a prominent position.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely going to take a step back because you can't say that as much about, you know, Toronto and Tampa right now.
Oh, Toronto's all in this year, and I get it. They don't have a fucking option. Their money's running out. You know, you just signed fucking Matthews to like half of the fucking salary. So like you, like they went all in this year, and I get it because that's the thing too with Bruins fans. I call them skies falling fans, Chicken Little fans, because I look at it, can it get any fucking worse? We lost our fucking the golden goat of, but like was Bergeron was the face of Boston for years now, right? Since Brady left, right? And gone. Krejci, his number two, gone. Fucking Taylor Hall, former MVP, gone. Fucking Foligno, fan favorite, didn't play the best here, but you know, gone. We lost in the first round after winning fucking 97 games last year. Can it get any fucking worse? Like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah, like the fans in Boston for the Bruins specifically are so fucking spoiled. It is
Oh.
ridiculous. And especially I notice it now more that I'm working at a brewery and I'm sitting here behind the bar and I'm pouring beers and I'm wearing a t-shirt and people can see my Bobby Orr tattoo on my
Mm-hmm.
arm.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, "Oh, Bobby Orr, you must be a Bruins guy." And then rough go this year. They really suck the last few years. I'm like, "Shut the fuck up." Like you have no
Yeah.
fucking idea, dude. Like we are
Yeah.
so fortunate to live in the region that we do and follow the team that we do. I know you don't live here, but like you're a
Mm-hmm.
Bruins fan, so
Mm-hmm.
we're fortunate to have the team that we do. Like there's other teams that have had a really really good team, like the Ottawa team that we were talking about a little while ago. They don't sustain it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they have one, two, three, four, maybe at max, great seasons, and then time, you know, does its thing and it's a cyclical nature here. They have to make changes. Somehow this team has always maintained since like 2007
Mm-hmm.
that competitive juice and that competitive edge to be one of the top teams in the league, at least in the top 15 in the league. I feel like consistently.
Oh yeah, no questions asked. And I know it's just like I consider myself a masshole just by association, right? Because I fucking all my buddies, you guys all live in New England and shit, and it I don't know. It's just so interesting to me that people still have stuff to complain about. Like Bergeron won a fucking cup. Like you know what I mean? Like as much as yes, shit happens. Like it's just those people that can find the negativity in everything, right? And like me and you have both said multiple times on this, like I'm excited for the future, man. Like I'm excited to see where this goes and where it takes us as an organization because we haven't been in this position in a long fucking time where it's very unknown. Yes, there's like I just spoke like we have a lot of top players in the league, but good players can play on shitty teams. You know, you never know what the fuck's gonna happen. So, I advise everyone to just chill the fuck out, get excited for this is what I said to Boosie on Only Bruins. If you don't know, it's who I do the podcast with, Nick Busa, one of our really good buddies. We do the streams with him and
Shout
stuff.
out downtown Boosie.
Hell yeah. He's Downtown Boosie 2 on Twitter now, I think, if you want to go follow him. Um, but I was saying to him, it 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 amazes me how much like people like I was saying, people are so negative and shit towards everything. But like you said, we have been one of the top teams. Like you hear JVR and Shattenkirk and all these guys like I'm coming to the Bruins because they fucking win. You know, like these guys didn't come here to fucking retire and have a free skate every Saturday matinee game. You know?
Yeah, it's not the fucking ice capades, that's for
No,
sure.
exactly. And it's just like I don't know. I just think people need to relax and I don't know. Just be. It's the 100th year. Let's just fucking enjoy it. We were the first franchise to, in the American franchise to join the NHL. As an
USA, USA.
dude, as a Canadian, I fucking love that and respect that and want to celebrate it because, I was gonna say this earlier. You have Toronto media, juggernauts, Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick over at 32 Thoughts talking about the Bruins, and you know Merrick's playing both sides and he's got to get the best out of Elliot Friedman, and he was like, "So what do you think of the Bruins?" And he was like, "I never worry about the Bruins because they always fucking figure it out."
You can never count out the Bruins.
No.
Yeah.
And it's like, why the fuck is our own fan base doing that? It makes zero sense to me.
That's going to be my title for the episode.
There you
Episode
go.
8 of the Two Pad Stack featuring Brett Howard. You can never count out the Bruins.
You know what's even more ironic is number 8 was my number growing up, so it's perfect that I make my debut on Two Pad Stack.
There we go.
Uh,
And there's
there's
the
man.
big guy,
Yeah.
Cam Neely, right there.
Yeah.
Let's bring this to a wrap here, Brett. We're
Yep.
coming up on an hour 46 minutes. This is going to be the longest episode of Two Bad Stack. So if you're still listening, we appreciate you. We love you.
Yeah.
Make sure
Sorry.
you follow.
I don't shut the fuck up, guys. Sorry.
Nah, dude, it's been great.
Yeah, no,
I love it.
I looked at my phone and I was like, "Holy fuck!" And then I saw the time up in the corner. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is just me and Ace, though."
Yeah, dude, we're just shooting the shit. It's great. So
Yeah.
no complaints whatsoever. It's been good. Any closing thoughts for you as we are coming in on training camp?
Uh, well, first off, I'm gonna say thanks for fucking having me on. This was a blast. Burge, you suck. No, I'm just kidding. Love you too, buddy. We're gonna have to do this again. I know me and you and Boos have talked about crossover pods that are gonna. We're already in the works. We just got to figure out something that works out for everybody. But I want to really thank you and I appreciate you having me on tonight. We got great shit going over at Prime Time, and I couldn't be happier that we're all on this fucking great network and journey together. But to closing thoughts on the Bruins, just like I said, man, everyone needs to just fucking relax. Next weekend, there's gonna be a fucking what's it called, fashion show with the new jerseys. We'll have something to look forward to. Prospect camps coming up, or prospect challenges this weekend. It will be streamed. I know all of us will be fucking retweeting that shit, and you can find it on all of our socials most likely. But yeah, man, like training camp's right around the corner. I'm excited to get this season going. And I'm just I don't know. I'm excited to see where this fucking takes us because we're in really uncharted waters right now. anxiety city, like we and you've talked about before, but it's also really fucking exciting. And um, I don't know. It's we might not win 75 games this year, but we're gonna be a playoff team and we're gonna fucking compete, and that's all I ask out of my organization.
Absolutely, dude. I'm right there with you. Well said. All I will say is that I'm ready for this season to start. Drop the fucking
Mm-hmm.
puck. It's
Dog
starting to
days are
feel like
annoying,
fall
dude.
out there, dude. Like the leaves are
Yeah.
starting to change here in New England, and it's starting to feel like hockey
Fucking
season.
Mel's drinking pumpkin beers way too fucking
Fuck the
early.
ugh. So gross.
Uh,
All right, guys. Well, thanks very much for tuning in. We will see you next time. Once again, thank you to our partners at Primetime Productions for working with us, and shout out to Brett Howard. You want to follow him on X or Twitter? It is at Brett Howard _. Follow the Only Bruins podcast. What's that handle again, Brett?
at Only Bruins Pod.
And then, as always, follow us, the Two Pad Stack, and that is at Two Pad Stack Pod. We are now also on YouTube. We are also on TikTok. We are on Instagram. So follow all of our socials to get all the latest Two Pad Stack content. Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful one, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Go Bees.